Both the Mulvane and Hayesville school districts are asking voters to pass bonds worth tens of millions of dollars. Let's take a closer look at some of the bills Governor Kelly vetoed. Wednesday, she stopped a proposal that would have forced people to pay child support starting at conception. Another would have required the Attorney General to approve fee contracts for legal services.
I think it's like the 80s, right, JoJo? Something like that.
It's kind of becoming a boys club in here. You keep calling the JoJo. I'm right here. Rivers are rising across the South and Midwest, bringing floods, threatening some communities already impacted by severe storms last week.
Munching my leg again.
Yeah, Kevin looks like he's itching to get into a home.
Yeah.
So we better get him into one fast. Reno County commissioners will consider expanding regulations for solar projects today to all parts of the county. But my dream car is a RAV4, so I don't know a lot about hot
I drive
rods.
a RAV4. Are you going to steal my car, Zena?
Maybe. Where do you keep your keys? Here's a live look at that. You can see that line of cars extending into the distance. This is a look over downtown Wichita through our Skyview camera. Good morning. I'm Zena Taher. Alexis is off. Several bills Governor Laura Kelly vetoed could become law as lawmakers enter their veto session today. Republicans hold a supermajority at the State House. Political science professor Rob Beatty says if the party can get all their members to vote, they override the governor's vetoes. He adds many of the issues she squashed aren't big-ticket bills.
Many of these bills that we're seeing her veto are sort of technical. They're not controversial maybe for everybody in the state. There's some groups that are interested in them, but they're just not those super controversial bills.
Let's take a closer look at some of the bills Governor Kelly vetoed. Wednesday, she stopped a proposal that would have forced people to pay child support starting at conception. Another would have required the Attorney General to approve fee contracts for legal services for certain levels of government. Kelly also vetoed a bill that would have stopped non-residents from hunting waterfowl on public lands in Kansas Wednesday through Saturday. It would also raise certain hunting fees. She approved numerous other laws Wednesday, criminal history background checks for certain jobs in the state Commerce and Labor departments. This bill was brought up following the death of Peabody clerk Jonathan Clayton, who was a convicted felon the state previously hired. The governor also approved year-round fireworks sales, a variety of new license plates, and a bill establishing the new South Central Regional Mental Hospital in state law. It also requires certain waivers for rural emergency hospitals to provide skilled nursing facility care. Construction is now in progress near Meridian and MacArthur for the state psychiatric hospital we just mentioned. It will have 104 beds, with about half of them reserved for inmates who need evaluations to see if they're fit to stand trial. Sedgwick County Sheriff Jeff Easter says it's more efficient to treat people than to incarcerate them.
I tell you, the criminal justice system is the most expensive system you can be involved in. And some of these folks get involved in the criminal justice system because of their mental illness. And if we can divert that, that's less money, taxpayer money, to treat them and to continue with the recovery and treatment than putting them through the whole criminal justice system.
The facility is expected to open in 2027. The KDHE adds 8 new measles cases to the outbreak in southwest Kansas. The new cases include the first case in Ford County and the first case in Finney County, which the local health department announced last Friday. This brings the total to 32 cases across 8 counties since mid-March. One person has been hospitalized.
Now, your Storm Track 3 weather rate forecast.
There was a threat of grass fires and wildfires yesterday. We were able to make it through our Wednesday just fine. We'll just need to be mindful of our fire concerns today. It's going to be windy, warm, dry, and that's what's going to bring that threat of wildfires back up. With our winds fairly light for now, not gusty just yet. That's going to change in the next few hours. By the time the sun is up and shining, that's when we'll notice that breeze really starting to pick back up. Wind speeds today getting all the way up to 15 to 30 miles an hour. Widespread in our temperatures right now. Chilly 30s to the northwest. Milder 50s found farther south and east. Still at 53 in Medicine Lodge, 51 in Wichita. We were just at 55, though, so that goes to show that our temperatures right now still changing, dropping. Now, of course, depending on exactly where you are, you may need either a light jacket or a slightly heavier one at the bus stop early this morning. But once again, turning pleasant in the upper 60s to 70s with sunshine by later on this afternoon. Now, despite things being pretty nice again later on this afternoon, when it comes to our temperatures, things are going to start to warm back up, especially to the west by the time we get into our Friday. I'll show you what that means for our upcoming weekend, all coming up in your full Storm Track 3 forecast here in about 10 minutes. Zena?
Ronell, thank you. Earlier this week, we told you about a Kansas DACA recipient fighting to return home after being denied entry into the U.S. He's now back in the Sunflower State. Hannah King from our sister station in Kansas City shows us the long-awaited reunion with his family.
An emotional embrace. This video was taken by attorney Reka Sharma Crawford Tuesday, the day Ebenezer Cortez Martinez touched back down in Kansas City.
Being over there, I mean, felt, frustrated, like not knowing, what was going to happen.
He was gone a little over 2 weeks on a trip that was only supposed to last a few days.
I wanted to show my respect to him, because he's the one that, helped me out too.
He was in Mexico City to see a recently passed grandparent's grave.
So there really shouldn't have been anything that required not only for him to go through what he went through and what his family went through, but for the courts to have to intervene in order to get a favorable resolution.
Cortez Martinez's Kansas City legal counsel with Sharma Crawford attorneys was on the case and got him back within a week of getting involved.
We've been telling people to be very cautious about traveling. And I think a lot of these things that are occurring are so unprecedented in terms of normalcy seems to be up in the air a little bit.
Sharma Crawford says the lawsuit on the issue is now resolved. Today, a man will be sentenced for his role in a July 2023 shooting that killed a 16-year-old in Wichita. According to online court records, Doug Quaylen Patterson accepted a plea deal admitting to second-degree murder and criminal discharge of a firearm. Another man is serving a life sentence for the shooting. Rico Brown was convicted of first-degree murder. Eric Gonzalez Gutierrez is also set to appear in court today. He is charged with first-degree murder in the death of Aaron Lara. Police say Lara got into a fight with another man during a Father's Day barbecue last year. That man left, came back with a rifle, and shot Lara. Former Chiefs wide receiver Tyreek Hill and his wife were in a domestic dispute, according to Sunny Isles Beach, Florida police. Hill's mother-in-law called officers to the family's home Monday, saying the Dolphins player was acting aggressively and she was afraid for her daughter. Hill told police a discussion with his wife had escalated. His agent did not respond to a request for comment. Wichita State's Cessna Stadium will hold its first event since 2024, even though construction on the facility is ongoing. KSN's Asia Simone Smith shares what the stadium will look like for the arriving athletes.
Athletes and spectators at this week's KT Woodman Classic won't be able to access the east side of the stadium as they're preparing to lay down the bleachers there, but there has been a lot of progress made since May of 2024. Let's start with the west side building. About 60 to 70% of the metal paneling has been installed and half of the toilets are complete with plumbing being run. Concrete is also being poured around the entryways, and once the state meet concludes at the end of this May, that's when the next phase of construction will begin.
We are going to immediately move into demolition of the existing track and field, and we'll start installation of the 9-lane track, turf field, and work on the north and south areas that will be terraced for future team camp areas.
Pittman adds that those changes are anticipated to begin in early June and conclude by the end of 2025. But Wichita State Athletic Director Kevin Saul says he's committed to working right alongside Keisha to make sure there's no interruptions to the Keisha State meet, because he understands the importance it has to the athletes, spectators, and also to our local economy. Here for you at Cessna Stadium, Asia Simone Smith, KSN News 3.
The KT Woodman Classic is Friday and Saturday. The state track meet takes place on May 30th and 31st. Coming up on Kansas Today Early Edition, from more medals to mixed sporting events, we take a look at the changes coming to the Summer Olympics after the break.
You're watching Kansas Today Early Edition.